what's going on between Ukraine and Russia. We know that recently I talked with Stanislav Krapivnik. He mentioned that Ukrainians are using the Palantir drones, and I don't know, moderated or commanded by Palantir AI, and communicating with Starlink. Looking at the war in Ukraine, how deep the United States under the Trump administration is involved in Ukraine.
It is deep, and again, it's nothing new. First, there are no Palantir drones. There's a Palantir, the fake AI thing, which is nothing more than whatever the hell they have models, which are advanced algorithms, and that's it. Well, yeah, United States is and probably will for a little bit longer, provide ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. And it also involved directly in C4, command control computers and communications, especially communications. So it's done for typical cynical reasons, to gain, some kind of experience. They obviously will learn nothing. You have to understand that. And no matter what they do, yeah, they've been doing this all along. Minab, gymnasium, the other gymnasium they attack, that's all so-called Palantir. That's what Pentagon only is capable of doing. Killing civilians, fighting real war, no. But they will continue to hide behind the remnants of the cannon fodder in Ukraine until they think that some of them, many of them in Pentagon, because they are butthurt and they understand how inferior they are, they will try to spit or scratch Russians, do whatever kind of damage, just as long as Russians are killed. And that's it. That's who they are. And will continue to provide this support. In terms of fighting war, no, they are incapable of doing this.
What do they want, Andrei? I assume that they want to make money out of what's going on in Ukraine. But when you look at the way that the Trump administration is behaving, or is trying to somehow saying we're not part of the war, but they're involved in the war, they're supporting what's going on. What do they want from Ukraine? I'm talking about the Trump administration particularly.
Well, I mean, first, there are convergence of several different interests, including those idiotic ideations or delusions about that somehow they will get access to the Ukraine fully under control of Russians. All critical things for the rare earth minerals, coke, and not cocaine, but coal, which is used for the metallurgy, and things of this nature, coal and ores. Russia controls. So, but yeah, he thinks that if he writes, signs some kind of the idiotic document with the Nazis has any power in that, no. And so the rest of it, as I already stated, there is a very significant strata in the political, military, and intelligence community in the United States. They are not good professionals. They suck at they know how to do propaganda. That's why they still refer to this Gulf War. Oh my God, they do it out of pure hatred of Russians. So, and the more they kill Russians, they have enjoyed that, so that's who they are. And they have no integrity, humanity in them, and they are just butthurt. Simple as that. You have to understand that. This is one of the most fundamental factors. It is the same as very many women, and many wars, especially ancient wars, have been started very often because of women and the desire to. Sometimes people say, it doesn't matter. Oh, yes, it matters. The same here. The hatred. Nazi Germany, guess what? The whole ideology was there, was about racial superiority to this Slavic I am subhuman to many people in CIA and Pentagon and Washington, D.C. You can see yourself. I'm Slav, so I must be subhuman.
Yeah. Andrei, I assume that Russia would continue the war until this winter would be different from the in the compared to the last 4 years, in my opinion. But it's something different coming into the calculation, which is the blockade on Odessa and Nikolaev and the pressure that the Russian
You're
army or
breaking up.
government is trying to put them down. And how do you see the things happening, the things or the way that the things are going on, and with the blockade going into the winter, and how is that going to influence Ukraine?
Well, I mean, Ukraine is being killed as a state. Okay, let's be very straightforward. And I know it sounds horrible. Russians will kill all mobilizational potential of Ukrainian men. Simple as that. Those people who do not understand and who do not understand what war is all about, I'm sorry, it's their problems now. Let's be very straightforward. All this moralizing about human lives and things like that. United States and Europe, they are driving Ukrainian men to fight Russians. Because they are incompetent, they have no integrity or humanity or morality. Europe and United States have been completely debasing themselves and no morality left. Is that they will kill more Ukrainian men. Russians will oblige. Russians don't care about Ukrainian men or Ukraine for that matter. They want it gone. And this is what they are doing. They are choking it. If you take a look at even Kiev stores, food is much of the food, not all, but much of it is gone. They cannot deliver anything. They cannot ship anything out. Okay, they wanted it. The combined West wanted it. They supported Nazis because combined West is a Nazi. Plus they need to maintain their hold on power, those pathetic elites. So, and they will continue to oppress Ukraine, but now it's, you are engineer, you studied, the mathematical analysis. We're having actually the exponential, not growth, but decline because the coefficient is negative. And you can see yourself what is going on. They are talking about drafting all women who do not have children. And throw them on the front. They can do that. Russians will kill them all. And so there is no sentiment anymore. There's no such thing like, brotherly people. No, Ukraine are not brotherly people. There are normal people who are there who are worth saving, and this is what is happening. But they are war criminals. They sold their soul to basically war criminals in the West. And this is now the wrapping up of the special military operation in the most dramatic way. And it's going to affect, it's affected already, but it's going to affect even more Europe, because Europe is the existential enemy of Russian people. And yesterday, Vladimir Putin gave the orders to the commander of the Russian Pacific Fleet to respond in kind if any other Russian tanker or vessel will be stopped by Europeans. Russians will do the same thing. And when you look attentively at the density of the shipping lanes of communications there, you will understand how scared they are. So, and that's what is happening. NATO has to be gone. It has to be killed. And Russians doing their thing. And they are the best at doing it in the world and in the history. And so nothing can stop them from that.
Andrei, we have reports on Guardian talking about the American aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln having huge difficulties. The sailors want to commit suicide. And there was some sort of fight inside the aircraft carriers, and 7 people were injured or killed. Something of that sort was reported as well. And the aircraft carrier has been deployed for more than 9 months. It's huge for an aircraft carrier, 5,000 people in that condition. What do you make? And right now, we learned just hours ago, we've learned that the United States is going to send George Washington to the West Asia to replace Abraham Lincoln. And what do you make of the way that Donald Trump is managing or is continuing the war?
He doesn't manage anything. He's dumb. He is dumb. Let's face it. He doesn't. When he started it all, I mean, he was driven by anything but statesmanship and military, essentially considerations. What they commit now It's a crime against their own personnel. I have my heart breaks for these guys. As much as I'm critical of the U.S. policies and U.S. war crimes, you have to understand these people, these kids, they really went there for whatever reason, financial reason, or they didn't have any other option. They gave the oath to defend Constitution and the United States. They're defending nothing there, and they became the hostage for this mindless FUs, in the White House, and this cretin, what's his name, and all those people who don't understand what they are doing. They're essentially driving people into the utter desperation, because this is not how you fight the war. Because I'm really horrified by what they do to the personnel, and it's one of the kids, but not on Lincoln, but on one of the LHDs. I believe it was Boxer or Tripoli. It doesn't matter. His family, his mother said he lost more than 30 pounds. You know what? This is not just bad food or not enough. This is starvation. Who will answer for that? What they do to those people? First, it's completely demoralized force to start with. It's a broken, as Scott Ritter likes to point out, broken ship. They are incapable to perform duties properly anymore because the people are in such a desperate. And of course, then no showers, all kinds of things like of this nature. There is no soap, nothing. I mean, did you see what they eat? It's like homeless in the United States, eat better than they. And so it's a horrifying situation, and it's a crime against their own personnel. Who is responsible to that? Who is going to answer for that when they take these kids and under pretext of some BS, about that? Oh yeah, we defend them. No, you're not defending United States. You are basically acting upon, on Israel and other idiotic choices of the people like ignoramuses, like from Raytheon or Boeing, and so it's total demoralization of the American force. They put their guys under the Iranian missiles because there are a bunch of cretins there who said that, oh yeah, Patriot. Remember? They believe those fairy tales from these Nazis in Ukraine that, oh yeah, Patriot shoots down all those hypersonic weapons. Well, did they learn something? They lost 13 bases in the Persian Gulf. Who died? American kids, GIs, those guys who, they're not necessarily bad people. Most likely they are very good people. They believe this BS, which was sold to them that, oh yeah, you're going to go, defend Constitution. No, they wanted to go to defend the pedophile, Epstein, and defend Israel. And that's the result. So now they cannot fight any real war. United States has no resources. It has no basic, and it cannot sustain any real operation. So what they're going to do, let me put it this way. Any nuclear submarine, even during the Cold War, it could take their supplies there more than 90 or 100 days. It could take like almost a year supply if need be. Obviously, the issue here that multi-purpose submarines, plus attack submarines in the Soviet Navy, they would go onto their combat patrols, which is called, it was BS, but боевая служба, it's not, it's called, combat patrol essentially. No more than 60 days. No more than 60 days. After that, it's either rotation of the crew or just coming back to base. It's for strategic missile submarines. Multi-purpose subs could go up to 90. After that, you basically lose your combat readiness, and everybody knew this. Of course, submariners experience other horrible things like total isolation. You do not literally, just surface and things like that. Although Russians, they had the smoking room, they could allow people to smoke inside the sub. So and that's it. Now you have the guys who have been there 9 months without seeing land. Are they freaking Are you kidding me? So what do they expect from them? How do you expect them to perform those duties? So, and as the result, and again, you could probably do the routine if you are fed well, you are supplied well, sustained. You have good showers, you have laundry rooms, you have the soap, you have good food, you have entertainment, which is none of it exists there. It's evidently floating prison. That's what it is now. And again, who is going to be responsible for that? Oh, certainly not Trump. Certainly not Hexet, who lies through his teeth. So what United States armed forces has become? It's a joke. It's obsolete. So, but well, what do I know?
It seems, Andrei, they want to continue the war as a war of attrition, not only militarily, economically. They said, the American ambassador to Israel said they want to bankrupt Iran. We've learned
Yes.
from Scott Bessent as well. They want to make the Strait of Hormuz irrelevant. It means that they're going to use the
Yeah, sure.
pipeline.
Scott Bessent wouldn't understand the first thing about how the issue of the operation of this choke point is. He will know even probably how to handle choke points, but this is one of the critical choke points in the in global. Yeah, they can say whatever they want. Mark Huckabee is a sellout. He's treasonous piece of crap. Essentially, he is actually Israel's ambassador to the United States. That's who he is. He's a fanatical Christian Zionist, heretic, and person without any principles or whatever. Israel, yeah, sure, they tried to bankrupt Iran for what? For the last 46 years, right? So no cigar, but now the things changed because, for example, Russians don't give a flying coitus about those sanctions anymore, and they are developing and building now large container ships for Caspian Sea. It definitely doesn't give a flying coitus about the sanctions on Iran. So Iran is in a much better position now than it was before when it had to endure sanctions globally. So suddenly, okay, sure. The problem with you cannot explain to Bessent, who is, well, he's not very bright fellow between me and you, that it's United States, which is bankrupt, and they cannot continue. Neither Bessent nor Huckabee, who has degree in divinity, that means studying, he is studying Scofield Bible, which is not Bible, it's some kind of abomination. So they want to understand the first thing about real sustainment, how you have to sustain combat. And depending on what kind of the level of the combat and what attrition models are, including economic attrition model. And then suddenly, as I already stated, Iran is not isolated anymore. It has a backing of very many people and very many powerful countries. So how this Bessent guy, the only thing they know, and again, the only this bunch of the nincompoops running around the Trump administration know are what? Tariffs. That's it. You cannot buy this, otherwise we'll impose tariffs. Sure, go try to do that. Can do it irrelevant. There is a bunch of the imbeciles from United Arab Emirates who try to build the new canal to Oman. I mean, sure, go right ahead. You cannot explain to people what it is technologically or but yeah, Iran is a big biggest honcho now in Gulf, and so United States is irrelevant here. They cannot continue anything. They can rotate Lincoln, with Washington will come in, and who knows how long that will be in place. But what does it decide? Nothing. As I already stated, they are within the reach of Iranian missiles everywhere, including in Israel, of course, and once it starts to fly, they have nothing to defend themselves with. Nobody buys this BS about the Patriot being an effective weapon or let alone thought. I mean, it's utterly corrupt. It's rotten to the core. And then suddenly they face this, the whole situation in Ukraine and Iran. Some people say, which I was saying from the get-go, now they say, hey, hello, I was saying this for years, that essentially Iran is the next theater of operation. And essentially this whole global war between Eurasia, oh God, we're getting into the Orwell's territory. We always were at war with Eurasia. So Eurasia fighting back and beating the crap out of the West, which is nothing more than corrupt, rotten, perverted, and they are lying nonstop. And well, what can I say? It is what it is. I cannot even explain anymore. We've been through this before, and we discussed it a million times.